Rising homeowner insurance premiums here in Florida have created a crisis such that many cannot even afford to live here any longer. Here in Florida, the average homeowner's insurance policy costs over $6,000 a year. That's 3.5 times the rest of the United States. I'm a local realtor that's lived here on the north side of Orlando for years and years, and I've watched the cost of my homeowner's insurance policies double in the last few years. So I've had to ask some difficult questions about the viability of my own real estate. So today, I'll be looking at what's going on, what's causing the Florida insurance crisis, what's being done about it, and lastly, what you can do about it. So be sure to stick around for this last one, because I've got a couple practical tips that I think can really help you save some dough. Florida is and has always been a desired destination for retirees, but it's more than that. It's always been an affordable place to live, with so many Floridians of all ages migrating from tax-heavy states like California, New York, Massachusetts, and others too. Now, we all know that the cost of a home has risen quite a bit in recent years, along with the associated taxes, and that's just part of life. However, insurance costs have skyrocketed, and many, especially those on a fixed income, simply don't have the means to pay for it. As such, many are just rolling the dice and simply just aren't carrying any homeowners insurance at all. Of course, that's only an option for those that don't have a mortgage, which is really the minority of homeowners. About 15% of homeowners in Florida don't even carry homeowners insurance, compared to the national average of right around 7%. If any of you aren't carrying homeowners insurance, let me know in the comment section below. I'm really curious about your justification for that decision. Is it just the cost? And it's not just for those that already own a home. As a local realtor, these increased homeowners insurance premiums are decreasing the amount of home that a buyer can qualify for. So if they used to be able to purchase a home, say for $300,000, today they may only qualify for a home for $275,000, which can make a huge difference, especially if you don't know if the insurance premiums are going to continue to rise, which leads to a whole other issue of affordability. Before we get to what's causing this crisis, if you're finding value here, hit the like and subscribe buttons as a small way of showing your support for the effort of this channel. So what's causing the Florida insurance crisis? Well, one major cause of rising homeowners insurance premiums is fraud. So many companies used to just stand on the ground, these roofers and whatnot. They'd look up at someone's roof and determine if it needed replacing. Then they'd knock on the door and tell the homeowner that they could get a free roof, which sounded like a great idea to the homeowner. Then they'd simply tell the insurance company it needed replacing. They'd fill out some forms, and voila, a brand new roof with little or no cost to the homeowner would appear, and the roofing company got paid, all without any negotiation whatsoever. Now, I don't know if this is fraud, if it's legal system abuse or what, but they've made it more difficult for that to happen these days. Plus, insurance companies were apparently being sued by anyone and everyone. Now, my understanding is that it was the cost of attorney's fees defending themselves from lawsuits, many of which were reportedly frivolous, that drove up the cost of homeowners insurance. One article I read noted that 80% of the national property claim lawsuits happen right here in Florida. Yes, we've got hurricanes too. However, in the last year since this recording, Florida had just one hurricane that impacted us. Now, I don't want to downplay that too much, because that storm still caused between like $3 and $5 billion in damage. But it was a very light year for storms, and our rates skyrocketed still. Of course, hurricanes are nothing new, but they are a major expense for these insurance companies. Hurricanes are also something that's in the back of every Floridian's minds every summer, because we count on the insurance companies to protect us from catastrophic events like these hurricanes. In just the last 3 years since this recording, like 30 insurance companies have flown the coop. They've abandoned Florida. Of course, fewer insurance providers doesn't do anything to lower the insurance premiums charged by the remaining companies. I understand that over 1.2 million people count on Citizens property insurance, which is supposed to be a low-cost insurance alternative for those who cannot obtain insurance otherwise. However, the cost for Citizens insurance is also getting absolutely out of control, if they'll even cover you. I tried to obtain insurance with Citizens last year and was rejected. I was fortunate that I was able to find someone else to cover me for this little 960 square foot concrete block home with a new roof. But as of this recording, I'm paying over $3,500 a year. I'm curious about what you are paying for homeowners insurance. Put that in the comments section below. Before we get to what's being done about this problem, if you're thinking of moving anywhere here in the Orlando area, I can connect you with a number of solid insurance agents, or I can help you with any real estate matter for that matter. Simply pick up the phone and give us a call. We get these calls all the time, and I love it. So what's being done about the Florida insurance crisis? Well, Florida has taken some action that's supposed to help with the Florida insurance crisis, but I'm really still waiting to see its effects. In 2021, Florida passed Senate Bill 76, which was intended to curb rampant insurance fraud. Florida then started offering these grants to help Florida's homeowners strengthen their homes against storm damage. Then, Florida mandated that insurance companies may not be able to deny homeowners insurance coverage based solely on the age of a roof, as long as it's less than, 15 years old and has 5 years of useful life left on that roof. Florida also passed a bill that provides oversight to ensure that insurance companies aren't behaving badly towards their customers. Not that that would ever happen. I don't know of anything that's significant that's really changed here, as we're always hearing about homeowners' claims still being rejected, sometimes for questionable reasons. Florida also restricted the rates insurance companies can charge for property insurance claim cases, which is supposed to address those attorney fees I spoke of earlier. Of course, this is not a complete detail of all that's been done. Rather, it's a summary of a few steps that the state of Florida has taken so far. Now, some of you might be wondering, what can I do to protect myself from Florida insurance crisis? First, get a 4-point inspection and a wind mitigation report. These are tools that insurance companies use to determine the risk of carrying you as a policyholder. Secondly, if those reports show deficiencies, make the appropriate repairs or upgrades. Yes, the replacement of an old roof is expensive, but you may end up paying for that new roof in the form of increased insurance premiums if you fail to make those upgrades. Next, shop your policy. Take the time to do your homework and check with numerous insurance agents to find out if you're getting the lowest rate possible. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.